Hey guys, what's up? It's IG on the Disposablegorilla channel. I belong to about a dozen Skype groups, and I get home from work and I actually read probably about 80% of the stuff that goes on in these different groups. And sometimes I can't believe just the utter stupidity or hypocrisy, the obsessive compulsive behavior. I mean, I could go on and on with a lot of people in these groups, and I'm friends with 90% of the people in all of these groups, and and that's fine. I mean, everyone has their quirks and everyone has their faults and everyone has their strong points, and I don't like to judge people on the stupid crap that they type, or the stuff that's said about them on the internet, or whatever. I like to focus on the things that I enjoy about a person as opposed to focusing on the negative. And so that being said, in case I might offend anybody, you know, um, sorry. But one of the things that I'm really tired of reading about and hearing about in people's videos or in people's hangouts is this whole thing about how Brett Keane, is a Christian. Now, if you took the time to talk to the man, you'd know that he's not a Christian in the regular sense of Christian. And if you'd really like to know about where his position is, instead of just assuming, because you watch a couple of his videos or you heard from some other jackhole, that he's a Christian, you could go to my channel and you could watch the interview I actually did with him about it. Or you know what? You could leave him a comment and you could ask him yourself. Brett Keane is not a perfect person. And I'm not going to go out and say that we're the best of buds and, we trollop through YouTube land arm in arm, whistling Dixie and rainbows popping out our butts. We bump heads and stuff. He's talked some smack about me. I've talked some smack about him. But there's one thing that I can say that most of you can't. And that is that I actually have the balls to talk to him and ask him. I don't rely on hearsay and the information uttered by jackasses on the internet about other people. Most of you do. Most of you just gossip like a bunch of chicken heads about what people say about other people rather than going to the actual person and asking them for yourself. And some of the stuff, the answers I've gotten from him, some of them I've been satisfied with, and others, I haven't been all that satisfied with. But the bottom line is that I can say that I've had the balls to talk to the man about the questions I've had. I don't run around the internet and Skype spreading disinformation, misinformation. I respect a lot of you out there. There are a lot of you out there that I respect. But then there are some of you that I just face palm at some of the crap that you write in the Skype chats about other people. Even about Raul. I'd love to talk to Raul one-on-one because there are questions that I'd like to ask him personally instead of just relying on the internet for the information. And hopefully that day will come. I have a feeling that the day when InventorGorilla and Raul can have a discussion, that would be awesome. Because we all know I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. J-Dubs, you know, Brett Keane, Raul. I'm not afraid to talk to anyone. I'd like to get the information for myself. And I hope as skeptics or free thinkers, you'd respect that. But no, of course not. Most of you are just a bunch of pansies who hide behind your YouTube channel, leaving nasty comments and down thumbing and perpetually spreading this disinformation or these lies or these half-truths, whatever you want to call them, about other people, you know. And that's fine. You know, you can continue to look like an idiot. I don't really care. But just don't expect a lot of respect from me. Don't expect me to let it go anymore. Because I've been letting a lot of stuff just slide. Because I'm like, well, it's not really worth it. It's not really worth trying to correct them. It really, I mean, what does it really do anyway? Nothing. So, for a lot of you people out there that claim that you don't like drama and you don't, like certain people, you certainly talk about them a lot. You certainly talk about drama a lot in Skype. Anyway, it's come to my attention that Exiled has been terminated. And, this pisses me off for a number of reasons. But first and foremost, it pisses me off because, see, she's another person that has the balls to talk to anyone about anything and confront people and ask honest questions, and she doesn't let people wiggle out of stuff. She's a very direct and concise and an impressive human being altogether in regards to her online presence. She scares me a little bit, and I like it, and I respect her. So, the last, thing that she really does before she's terminated is she's on my show with Brett Keane and J-Dubs asking tough questions, and she gets flagged down. You people are garbage. You are the biggest group of sniveling, spineless cowards. Part of me wants to just close my channels and just walk away. I mean, seriously. Now, in regards to the whole Coughlin being flagged, my point that I wanted to bring up was the fact that J-Dubs was giddy about it, was happy about it, to me, removes the whole, he's offensive, he had to be stopped excuse. I'm sorry, J-Dubs. But the fact that you were emotionally charged by it happening, to me, it was more out of vengeance than it was a sense of justice. You admitted to having a sense of glee about it, which meant that this was about vengeance. This wasn't about what's appropriate for YouTube. It's about vengeance. And it kind of makes you a douche. No, it doesn't kind of. It does make you a douche. But you know what? It's not going to stop me from interacting with you in the future. It's not going to stop me from, having you on the show again. Because, you know what? Nobody's perfect. Everybody's a human being We all have emotional biases. We all have our own story to tell. And if I went around and closed off communication or potential friendships because somebody is imperfect, well, then I'd be a really, really lonely guy now, wouldn't I? But I wanted to make my opinion public about my feelings on flagging Coughlin. You know, Coughlin will be back. I mean, I don't know. The reason nobody's really crying that much is because, number one, I don't think anyone's really all that surprised. And number two, we all know he'll be back. So, there you go. J-Dubs, you're a douchebag for what you did because it's obvious you did it out of a sense of revenge. And anybody else who flags for revenge and gets some kind of, boner, for flagging someone down, I mean, makes you a douche. It does. Brett, you too. That makes you a douche, bro. And then using the excuse, oh, well, YouTube, made the final decision. We all know that's a bunch of crap. Come on. Don't insult our intelligence. So yeah, I mean, Brett, you're an asshole. But it won't stop me from talking to you. It won't stop me from having you on the show. Hell, it won't stop me from coming on your show. Same with J-Dubs. You're a bitch. You're an asshole. But won't stop me from talking to you. Because look, like I said before, nobody's perfect. And I think, me being able to admit that I'm willing to talk to the most hated people or the most ignored people or whatever label you want to put on the group of people that nobody here likes, I like everybody for different reasons. I dislike some people for other reasons, but it will not keep me from interacting with other human beings. I don't let my hate or my dislike dictate who I talk to. Because let's face it, none of you can really hurt me in a way that would get me to want to shut you out of my life. None of you can reach through the screen and punch me in the nose and never apologize for it. None of you can be violent towards me. Yeah, you can talk smack. You can do ponage videos. I mean, look, Agent of Doubt has probably done more ponage videos on me than anyone else or everyone else combined, and I consider him my friend. So if you're going to criticize me because of who I'll hang out with, you know what? Just unsubscribe from my channels and be gone. Because I don't care what you think. I really don't care what you think. I don't want your advice. I don't want links to, oh, did you see this about that person? I don't care. If I have a question, I will go to the person. I won't go to some dumbass jackass's video that's chopped up and edited. I'll ask the person, and then I'll make my own decision. So for those of you out there that want to continue to cluck your heads off in Skype groups about people, about, this and that, that's fine. But just don't expect a lot of respect from me. Grow up. Have the balls to ask people directly. Or STFU. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.